Hey everyone, welcome back to Pearl Media. Today we're reacting to a Kevin Samuels video with some honest, unfiltered thoughts. Let's get right into it.
How you doing, Kevin?
I'm well. How old are you?
35.
All right. And what are women getting wrong today?
I think it's the feminine aspect. In general, I was married for 6 years. I have 2 kids out of that marriage, and from what I see, most of the time, in relationships past that and with that, is just that feminine side of things. They want to kind of take over at a certain point when a man tries to allow them to have a voice, allow them to, try to make some decisions together and do some things, and just the nagging overall.
Okay. Let's make it clear. Are you saying that women have a problem with the feminine aspect, or are you saying it sounds like you're saying women are being masculine?
Yes, women are being too masculine. Absolutely.
All right. And then you said something about when you allow them to say again, that you allow them to what?
To have more of a say so in the
more of a say so in what regard?
I would say just in the aspect of they want certain things to transpire, like maybe you helping out with certain aspects of the child care, or you helping out with certain aspects of just around the house things.
Well, I don't understand where a woman can be inner masculine by asking you to help with the kids. So I'm not being clear. What are you allowing her more latitude with that's in the masculine realm?
I would just say just feeling like they're the one in control of certain things,
Such as
with the kids, with the kids, or just
such as
let's say how the child should be bathed, or how the dishes should be washed, or where they should be put. It's the tone.
But what I'm not understanding, brother. That's the purview of women. Like, why do we have any input in that at all?
That's my thing. If the man is already handling the situation, but they
okay. But why are you handling it?
Why? Because in my situation, I was able to be home more often.
But that's not your. See, listen to what I'm about to say. You said that women are problem with the femininity and they're being too masculine, but you're in her territory. What you just described was a man who was not in his masculine. You were in the feminine space. And you can't be tripping that a woman treated you like a woman in her space.
So
just because you were home.
Not really home, but I mean,
it doesn't matter. That's her space. Women, let's say you were rich, right? You could still be home. You know, just like I know, women have a different way of nesting. They like the house to look a certain way. We're supposed to be responsible for the outside, and they're responsible for the inside. They like the pillows fluffed a certain way, this, that. And just because you can fluff a pillow, that's their job. You ain't asking her to cut the yard or edge it, are you? I mean, she could do it, but you know how to do it different. You're in her space.
and I would say also the aspect of being able to take in information. I heard what you said to the last person. As the general, are you giving out, the right orders and measuring those things? And I saw it as I aligned everything, biblically, as I was giving out, those types of things. And, she was submissive in the beginning.
We were giving her information. What kind of information are you talking about then?
Information such as maybe different ways to handle finances.
Whose job is it to handle the finances?
I mean, we both handle them.
Okay, see, if you listen to me, this is a good conversation because you mentioned biblically, But I've mentioned this before. Oftentimes we overload our women doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Pressure's made for shoulders, not for hips. Did you have an abundance of finances?
Not at that time. Now I do.
All right. So that's a pressure situation. You're involving a mother in stressful financial decisions. Could you have handled them yourself?
Yeah, I think I could have handled them all myself.
Then you should have. We don't need, and I've done this myself too. That's why I said pressure's made for shoulders, not for hips. See, what you've described is a situation where you're in places you shouldn't necessarily be in the best fit, and then places where you should be 100%, you're delegating. You should stay over here, and you let her be over there. If you can't handle the finances, and she's better at it, then that's one thing. But if she's not better at it and more qualified, then your job is to go find somebody who's more qualified, because that's the security of the house, and let her fluff the pillows. But see, you describe a situation where the house has overlapping roles, and that doesn't really work that well. I've been there. It doesn't work that well.
It don't work.
I don't live that way now.
Right.
See, the problem that I agree, a lot of our women are in their masculine because too many of us are abdicating our masculine and giving to their area. So if you've ever, I don't know if you ever had any Hispanic or Mexican friends, I was surprised to see.
I'm half Puerto Rican.
I was surprised to see how little the men they really did around the house. Even though they could do, black men would have been up doing this and doing that. When I went by my Mexican friend's house, the guys were in the guys' room and the women were doing, and there was peace, happiness, joy, and little Coronas and shit. Yeah, man. So just think about it this way. Even though I have a client who's a multimillionaire, and they were having marital issues. And I told them they hadn't had sex for months. I was like, what I need you to do is I need you to get up in the morning and leave the house before the crack of dawn, and I need you to come back after it's dark. And don't tell your wife. Tell your wife you've been out checking on the businesses. I need you to do that for a week. And he called back off the Wednesday and said, oh my God, after a few days, she jumped on me. And we've been going at it like teenagers. And I was like, what I need you to do is I need you to go rent an office space, an executive space, and go put a PlayStation in there. But I need you to get up and go, like you're leaving to go to work every day. He's like, why don't you do that? I'm a multimillionaire. Because your woman needs to see you go to work. Women do not need us in their space all the time. They want us away, even though we can be there. We need to give women time to decompress, time to miss us, time to fart, pick their nose. They human. Right. Time to talk shit with their friends on the phone, and then come home and let her do what she has to do. You do what you got to do, and kind of stay in our roles. I think you probably have better outcomes in your next situation if you just kind of keep that top of mind.
Yeah, and I've seen it, like you said, with women of other cultures.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you said, the submissiveness, as well as, them want to cook dinner without you saying nothing. They got everything ready. They just move, in a different mindset of, what the roles are. The roles are clearly defined. And I think in my personal situation, those roles could not be clearly defined because of our backgrounds.
And so knowing that going forward, as the man, what I would suggest doing is define them for yourself and understand that, is this the purview of the woman or more of the feminine or more of the masculine? Does it revolve in protection and provision, or does it revolve for maintenance? Maintenance is hers. You protection and provision. Let her put the babies to bed while you worry about how to get the checkbook balanced. Think it'll work better in the future. And here's the thing. Just because we didn't learn it growing up or didn't see it growing up doesn't mean we can't correct it and do better next time.
Absolutely.
All right, Chief. Later.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, this one right here hit on a topic I hear all the time, especially from brothers in their 30s and up. He's 35, calm, articulate, and clearly fed up. His main point: modern women are way too masculine, too aggressive, too combative, too in your face. And you know what? To a degree, he's not wrong. Kevin seemed to agree at first, because let's be real, we're seeing more and more women leading with masculine energy, trying to dominate conversations, talking like men, moving like men, competing instead of cooperating. But Kevin didn't just let him sit comfortably in that frustration. He gave him a reality check that every man needed to hear. You're right, a lot of modern women are masculine, but here's the part you're missing. Masculine women are the result of feminized men. And that shifted the whole conversation, because you can't complain about women being too masculine while ignoring the generations of men who stopped leading, stopped building, and stopped setting standards. Kevin asked the real questions. What kind of women are you choosing? Are you truly walking in masculine leadership, or are you just reacting to their energy? Have you created the kind of life where a feminine woman could rest in her femininity? That's the part a lot of men don't want to talk about. You say women don't submit, but do you give them anything to submit to? You say they're loud and aggressive, but are you attracting them with silence, passivity, and poor boundaries? Kevin made it clear. Yes, the feminine energy deficit is real. Yes, masculine women are hard to deal with. But blaming them without taking inventory of your own masculinity is a losing game. Because the truth is, a truly masculine man brings out the femininity in a woman, or he filters her out quickly if she can't tap into it. But if every woman you meet is masculine, combative, and hard to deal with, either you're picking wrong or you're not leading right. And Kevin summed it up perfectly. You can't ask for softness from a world you've hardened. You want her to follow? Then step up, set the tone, and lead with clarity. Bottom line, this isn't just a woman problem, this is a culture problem, and men have a big role in correcting it by being the kind of men who make feminine energy feel safe, valued, and protected. If she's too masculine, walk away. If she's not teachable, don't try to fix her. But don't sit around blaming women for being hard when you haven't built anything soft for them to walk into. It's accountability on both sides.